Hello, everybody. I'm enjoyed to be here today. I'm glad to present you the result of our 3 years collective project called BELIVE. So, let me introduce myself. So I'm Lisa Garnier. I've been working on biodiversity for 20 years on several aspects. And for now, I'm the leader of the biodiversity research at RTE, which is the French transmission system operator. So as you see, there were lots of co-authors with me because I'm not the only one to have worked on that project. So in each story, there is an introduction, oh, what happened here? A comprehension of the past. So let me introduce how the project was born. As you know, we are in a context of massive decline of biodiversity, where habitat destruction is the most common threat, affecting more species than all others. Threats combined. It's going faster than I'm speaking. So RTE has the charge to transport the electricity produced to the consumers and links France to its European neighbors. And it represents hundreds of thousands of kilometers of line, and 20% are located in forested area. Forests that have gone because of agricultural decline, or a forest that have always been present and that has to be cut. So to prevent trees from coming into contact with the lines, which can lead to fire, cutting is an effective solution to maintain security, but is not biodiversity friendly in most of the cases. So the experimentation of a new vegetation management took place between 2011 and 2017 with a live project with the Belgium TSO, ELIA. And the question was at that time if right away could help to create connectivity and help biodiversity. So I will not present the live project, but the BELIVE project is the next step. So it's an experimentation at a bigger scale. Can RTE control the habitat growing under power lines at an industrial level in a way that it's beneficial to stakeholders, biodiversity, and RTE with the agreement of landowner. Okay, so that's strange. I can't have one of the slides. Here is it. So the pilot took place in 3 different biogeographical regions, north, south, and west. In north, an operational pilot was working with the Regional Natural Park of Ardennes, who were driving the project, half paid by the French state. And the south and west were completely driven by RTE at the regional scale level with the help of Ecological Engineering Office. So here was the objective. So we have first the safety and stability to reach the number of hectares. The second one was the RTE's economic performance to dimension the human needs and the organization for an alternative management of the vegetation by ensuring the financial benefits. And the third was to demonstrate the value of the transmission system to establish the benefits for external relationships and the regional at the national level. So what have we done concretely? Sorry, I have a come directly. So we signed 19 agreements. So remember, RT is not the landowner. So we have to ask the landowner if they agree that we change vegetation management and if a stakeholder can take hand of the land, like a farmer, for example. So in this project, we have a lot of selective cutting. As you can see, the number of hectares, what was 150 hectares. And we have a certain amount also of grassland or meadows. So here are some examples. So in Les Masures, okay, here is it. Les Masures, you have some Christmas tree. They wanted to put a lot of Christmas tree, but we said, no, we try first with 1 hectare because otherwise, perhaps it will, you will not want, you do not want so much Christmas tree. And afterwards, the Christmas tree are growing up and then you have to cut them. So you have also some meadows and like Mondragon. Well, I have 10 minutes, so I can't speak all about that. So each of the region has its specificity. So this is the southeast of France. So they decided to spread the project in all sub-regions, so you have all the 4 sub-regions, but that have a human cost in terms of time. But it was effective in the number of hectares. They had a real opportunity in Côte d'Azur region to realize a lot of hectares because landowners had a huge number of hectares on the power line. And this is where we have selective cutting. And we had some biodiversity challenge also with wetland and classified sites. On the power line. And this is where we have selective cutting. Okay. And we had some biodiversity challenge also. I think because it's the I'm doing live. It's all right. Okay, it's okay.
We're having technical problems.
In of France, they had historical contestation for vegetation management, and BELIVE helped to reconstruct a cordial link. But this region, contrary to the southeast, showed a fragmented cadastral division, which complicate the process of consultation. It needs a lot of time. So the time passed of the project. So we had some hectares, but we can't do the same thing that in the southeast because there is so fragmented people there as a landowner. And in northeast region. The project was piloted by the Regional Park of Ardennes, and there the partners in this region was most the hunting association. So there are lots of hectares there, and the biodiversity challenges were the most about strong touristic and landscape interest, and also junction of corridors, ecological continuity. And we have quite a lot of hectares now in this region, which constitutes some corridor. So what have we learned? So the assessment demonstrated the feasibility on a larger scale. We did not spend all the budget, and we completed 3,025 hectares. According to experts, it's positive for an environmental point of view. That's true that biodiversity, we have to look at 5 years or 10 years after. It's difficult to say just now what is the results because we have just finished the project. And for the average breaking even point, I will speak about that here. The cost and benefits evaluation shows that without taking into account environmental engineering office costs, the breaking point is on average between 7 and 9 years. And it's 7 if we not take into account the most expensive management. Because as you see, Sécheval, Anzazac, and Les Mazures Croix-Bouzin cost quite a lot. And so the break-even point is very, well, it's in a lot of years. And but if we take into account the environmental engineering office costs, the breaking even point is much more important. So it's more 17 years, or it can be 20 years. With the questionnaire online, we asked several questions about relationship with RTE and about the feedback on BELIVE. So we had 28 answers that could be analyzed with a relative equilibrium between the 3 regions. And the main result was that BELIVE opened a local dialogue. So that was very positive. So the next step is to go further. It helped RTE to understand how to deploy alternative vegetation management. We have €1 million for its deployment with 2 politics, biodiversity politic and a vegetation politic. We have a small politic of alternative vegetation management. So we have to reach 2,300 hectares by 2024. We have a lot of work because we are now at 1,400 or almost. So I want to thank all the engineering office that have worked with us, and also all the RTE staff that you have on the book as authors that work on the project. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We're just limited to one question at the moment to try and get us back on time. Any questions for this talk? Yeah.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm very much interested in how you got in contact with the landowners and how long it took to convince them. I think this is amazing that you could conclude 19 agreements with them. So I was wondering how it worked.
That's the operational leader RTE in each region that came to the landowner, and because we have some other project before, we can explain and show them with some paper what we had already done and what we want to do. And that's true that in the West region, Sandrine Villers, which was the operational leader, is really open-minded. And at the beginning, it's she have done a meeting like this with the association and speak with them what was the project and what we could do, because it was not at the security line. We had to cut tree because otherwise it was not in security. So yes, it was a lot of dialogue.
Thanks, Lisa. Thank you very much.